What's popping, y'all? It's only getting worse and worse for Floyd Mayweather because after a recent expose that they got Uno reverse carded when it came down to him trying to sue his former business manager, saying this guy took advantage of me, and that guy delivered some scathing receipts, details that Floyd Mayweather may have forgotten because he has poor memory or was never able to read in the first place. And we're going to cover that a little bit later, but recently he might be going in jail. We might see Floyd in some cuffs, because he is facing charges for passing bad checks. So here it says Floyd Mayweather is facing 2 felony charges. Felonies alleging theft and intent to defraud by passing a bad check to purchase a $200,000 watch in Vegas. So Mayweather was not present for a hearing and was instead represented by his legal counsel. And they're saying theft of $100K. And the reason why is they're saying that he wrote a $200,000 check from a Wells Fargo bank account, a high-end Las Vegas retail boutique, in December 31st, 2024. So this a year and a half ago, they said he wrote the check when he had insufficient money, property, or credit on the account to pay it in full. So he's been broke since 2024. But the thing is, with his broke, he's like selling stuff to be able to keep up the lifestyle. So he's constantly bleeding, and he probably doesn't know the different balances. And also the video that was dropped shows that during these dates that he was struggling for money, and he was trying to pull money from here, sell things from there. And what these guys are saying is that he wrote it knowingly, feloniously, and without lawful authority. So this is the hardest part about this, is did he know that he did that on purpose? And I think with Floyd Mayweather, he's too dumb to know that he didn't have money in the account. I think he just thought he had money in that account, especially if he's got several accounts and he's got somebody handling all of his business. But this is the truth with Floyd Mayweather's when all of these things are coming out again and again. And keep in mind, he had an IRS tax lien that he didn't pay off, and he instead wanted to focus on Birkin bags, dog. And Floyd Mayweather, regardless of what people say, like right now, we learned that this guy is broke. And frankly, he's getting older and older, and he's got another fight that's going to be a big payday. But Floyd Mayweather, we're getting the full story of him, because have you ever wondered how Floyd would just take money from seemingly any and everyone that was willing to sponsor him? Like every crypto related scam, and we're not even talking about highly speculative assets. We're talking about ICOs when those things were coming out. If you guys remember, there's a documentary on Netflix about these guys that ICO'd this one coin that was complete fraud. That was supposed to be like this credit card. It was called Centra Tech. And the whole supposed thing was that, hey, you could buy everything with Bitcoin, and there's this we're going to be the credit card company that lets you do that. And Floyd Mayweather and DJ Khaled was another one. They were paid celebrity endorsers of this, and they tried to have Floyd Mayweather like buy it with the card. The card didn't work. You got to watch the documentary. It's so entertaining. But this guy's just taking these opportunities, and you see his shorts. He's doing all of these weird sponsors, and these are the type of sponsors that you would expect somebody that was a fallen off rapper to take, or maybe a rapper just coming up, somebody that really needed the bag. But Floyd, it's like he didn't have any discretion. If somebody was willing to give money, he was willing to take it and promote it. And that's because Floyd he was just taking it and spending it constantly. And with Floyd's lifestyle, a lot of people just think like, oh, this guy made this much in his career. Well, the majority of Floyd Mayweather's money came from huge paydays from fights. So let's say he gets a $50 million payday. He's got 50 M's, and then until he fights again, he's making almost no money. He's really spending because he's spending on his lifestyle. And on top of that, he's spending on training and coaches and all of it, and travel and these things like that, until he gets another big payday. Now, most fighters, they're not really living as lavishly as Floyd. And when you're naming, he used to walk around with 12 security guards. This guy would drive down Miami with his security guards surrounding him like an enclave. And he just wanted attention by all means. But when it comes to money, even now, when Floyd is quote unquote broke, he's really not broke because he's still cash flowing.
Back in 2024, when Floyd began investing in real estate, he had no liquidity, meaning he had no cash flow and essentially had no cash to his name. Jonah presents an idea to Floyd Mayweather, as Floyd at the time had 2 properties that were owned in full. However, they weren't being rented out, so they were costing him money every month. Jonah says you should invest that money in real estate so that you can start earning cash flow. In one of the exhibits filed with the complaint, Floyd shows the sale of his Beverly Hills and Miami properties. Instead of having 2 houses sit empty like before, Floyd is now earning almost $4 million every year in cash flow while owning valuable real estate in New York. So it's odd seeing him file this complaint alleging he's been screwed. Does anyone remember this fight? It was in 2015, 11 years ago. And this fight was in 2017. Al Haymon had to advance Floyd money from this fight because Floyd had already spent all of his money. All of this spending is not new. It's been going on for years. So think about this. It's been 9 years since that fight. Let's assume Floyd spends around $20 million per year, which is pretty reasonable given his lifestyle expenses. That would have meant he spent $180 million since that fight in 2017.
So this is the previous guy that was working with Floyd, who's Floyd is trying to sue now and says he took advantage of him. Floyd was so dumb that he had 2 gigantic properties that took a ton of money to tend to that he just left empty all the time. And I understand if you've got like an apartment or a home and you're like, dude, I don't want to rent this out. I don't want people coming in and out of it, breaking stuff. I don't want to have to tend to management. I just want to have the peace to know that when I come back home, it's exactly how I left it. That's completely understandable. But when you've got 2 castles, damn near, like a Floyd Mayweather, and it costs you a ridiculous amount of money to maintain these homes, you're missing out on a lot of money. And Rick Ross, for instance, he's somebody that rents out his own place to people that are shooting movies. I think he's like films, TV series, things like that, productions. So he's making some money at least from his home. That costs a lot to maintain in and of itself. The home doesn't cost too much, but all of the service that needs to be handled, the landscaping, all that other stuff costs a lot of money. So this guy was able to get Floyd $4 million a year, which means that Floyd is making at least $4 million a year. But they're saying that his lifestyle is $1 million or $20 million a year. He just needs to get rid of his lifestyle. And this is the thing. People want to say like, oh man, you know, he has so many people to take care of. And I think they're trying to cut Floyd a little bit of bail, which I'm not going to do. Screw Floyd. This is what he gets. Because even if you could say Floyd's got kids, right? He's got what, 5, 6 kids? $10,000 each, right? Because it's $4 million a year. $4 million a year is how much a month? Let's say $333,000, $333 per month. So give 6 of your kids. Okay, you guys all get a $10K a month allowance. I don't care what they were used to before. If somebody is not able to live an amazing life with $10,000 a month, they have a problem. I don't care. I don't care if you live in New York City, you can move somewhere else. You know, a lot of people are in New York City or in San Francisco because their job is there. And the job is what allows them to have enough money to live there. But if they had the same exact amount of money, a bunch of people flowed out of those states to different states when they were allowed to work remotely and to cheaper places during the whole like 2020 stuff. So $10K a month, each of them. You can give, and then cousins and all those people get cut off. Sorry, you're all cut off. His dad, obviously, and his trainers, give them, throw his dad $10K, right? Now we've got what, $50K, $60K minus that. Now we've got $270,000 a month. You don't need more than 1 full-time security guard. Floyd does not need more than 1. I don't care. When has any threat or harm ever been done to Floyd in person? Nobody has a bone to pick with him. He's not doing any gang stuff. So 1 security guard, 2 max. Let's say 20 grand a month. Now we're at what, 70? We've still got 250K a month. Sorry, Floyd, but the private jets are going to have to stop. So no more flying private. He's going to have to just fly commercial, God forbid, but he can still fly for first class. Okay. And he's just going to have to live in an apartment. Yeah. He's going to have to live at, what is it, Veer Towers or something like that in Las Vegas. Although he has his own home, like, yo, we got to forget the home. He's going to get a penthouse or something. But anyway, he just took care of his kids. He just took care of his family. He just took care of his own security. And he still has $250,000 a month left. Now you could say taxes and all that, but you can even take taxes out of that too. And he's still got plenty of money left to live. And this is why when these guys are broke, they deserve it, because Floyd was not cash flowing before. It was from fight to fight. This guy figured out a way to get him to cash flow. So now cash is constantly coming in month after month, which is the best place you can be in. And this is passive income. Floyd has $4 million of passive income a year, and he's still broke. And that's because this guy's got a tricking addiction on Birkins.
Here's Floyd texting about having to give up all of his jewelry and watches and all of his women's bags. Further, he sent the text, "Don't forget about my ladies' Birkins, also that's a part of the $13 million. In December 2025, Floyd texted, "Please keep me updated on my jewelry and Birkins, thanks." Back in March, so around 7 months after he began pawning, he texted his pawn shop lender asking about the balance he owes so Jonah knows what the number is.
So even as Floyd is going broke, he's like, I gotta keep tricking on these chicks. I gotta keep throwing them Birkins instead of taking the opportunity and seeing, okay, which one of them is willing to ride this one out with me? Maybe picking one of them out of his 6 to 8 girlfriends. God forbid you pick 2, just downsize from 6 to 2 and you ride out with them. No, you've got to keep buying them Birkins and you've got to keep flexing and wearing. Well, every single person knows Floyd Mayweather's rich, or at least thought Floyd Mayweather's rich, but this guy still had to, or felt the need to buy these things. And this is what we're talking about when we hear one of the 7 deadly sins, which the movie 7, you guys should really watch. It's a movie from the 90s. It's I wouldn't call it horror, more of maybe a thriller, but it's about the 7 deadly sins. And this greed, this is one of them, because he's still cash flowing, but he's still finding a way to go broke. His appetite, there is no amount of money that Floyd Mayweather could not spend through. And this is with the guy that doesn't drink or do drugs. How imagine if he did those things as well. Oh my goodness. And somebody else that went through a similar situation but actually did have a drug problem was Scott Storch. Scott Storch has been behind the producer from The Roots, produced so many different hits throughout musical history, has much publishing, all this other stuff. He went broke. He was damn near homeless, living at someone else's crib in Miami for a long time. But the reason for that was because this guy was spending too much. He said he was spending $2 million a month. He said he had staff for everything. And Floyd Mayweather didn't learn from that. But what happened to Scott Storch? Is he struggling for money right now? No, because he took his spend to zero, damn near, and then his cash flow, passive income that comes from all of the hits that he's made, because all of those hits are working for him, just like this real estate income and these investments that this guy that started working with Floyd was having do for him. So he just had to wait for those investments to bring him back up to land, or back up above the ocean surface instead of drowning. And now Scott Storch is doing fine without having to do anything new but cut back expenses. Floyd, he has to keep taking fights because his appetite is not going to go down. But you can only take fights for so long, and you're only going to be a draw for so long. And think about how this affects you at the negotiating table for people that want to bring you in for fights when they're like, oh, this guy's struggling. Let's just wait him out a little bit. He's going to spend some money. He's waiting for a big payday. And then now your demand is less, and you're fighting into what, your 50s, 60s, still taking damage? At some point, this, unfortunately, I don't see this changing. And there is nobody to blame here but Floyd Mayweather himself. But he won't be able to look himself in the mirror and say, this is my fault, I need to get help, or I need to fix myself. No, he still has that same ego from boxing and thinks he's the greatest, and he still needs to live this rich, lavish lifestyle and show off to people when people are quite unimpressed or don't even really care at all. They don't care that you've got a $200,000 watch. You're one of the greatest boxers of all time, and you squandered that. And all of the money made through that, spending $500 million plus. And it's really sad, but I guess we get to watch the train wreck. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.